I was thinking of this funny saying, I guess. It's just something I came up with just sitting here thinking of how to start this video. And I was thinking, playing with your imagination is like spiritual masturbation, right? And I know it sounds kind of funny, but like, it's all jokes aside, I'm being so serious where it's like, we need to play with our imagination. We need to be able to please ourselves with ourself. You know, how many people do you know that say they hate being alone, they can't be alone, they don't like being alone? Why don't they like being alone? Because they don't like who they're alone with. You're alone with yourself. So if you don't like yourself, or you don't like certain traits about yourself, or if you lack self-confidence, or if you lack self-awareness, or if you lack imagination, if you lack these tools, then being alone with the self is going to suck, because you're just sitting there alone. But when I'm alone with the self, it's beautiful. It's always beautiful when I'm alone with the self, because my imagination runs deep. I always deep think. I probably deep think way too much, and sometimes I need to not deep think, but I love the way I am. I love who I am. I love my flaws as much as I love the things that make me great, right? I love every part of myself. Now, imagination is something that lacks in this world today because, we're told to get a job, do this, do that. We live the blase blah life. We live the mundane. We live the boring life. And the funnest thing these fucking human beings want to do is they live a boring, shitty fucking life, going to their 9 to 5 all the time, all throughout the week. And on the weekends, they want to get drunk with their friends to try to numb themselves from the pain that they go through in life, right? Alcohol does not spark imagination. It numbs imagination. It prevents the imagination from running wild. That's why things like psychedelics, things like cannabis, that's why they've been trying to keep cannabis illegal for years, because it makes the imagination run. Psychedelics help the imagination flow so much better, so much easier. Abstract thinking is the psychedelic experience, right? So it's like, they don't really want us going towards that. They want to keep us in the blase blah, in the mundane, in the boring life where we lack imagination, where we lack self-pleasure, being able to please ourselves. They want to make it so we need cell phones to be pleased. We need the internet to feel pleased and content. So many people without the internet, without TV, without that, they'd be so bored. People say they're bored. I hear people say all the time, I'm bored. I haven't been bored in years. I don't know what it means to be bored anymore, right? Because I have too many dreams that I'm trying to accomplish. I have too many videos that I'm trying to make, too many thoughts in my head that I'm trying to get out. My imagination runs deep and wild, so I have all these ideas and philosophies and things I want to do with my life, and things that could be possible in my life if I only keep pushing, right? Like, I have too many things I'm doing to get bored. So you could take technology away. For me, honestly, I love technology, don't get me wrong. And it helps me get educated. I've been able to research. Without the internet, I wouldn't know what I know today. I wouldn't know all the things about philosophy, psychology, plant biology, molecules, chemistry, history, science, like shamanism, spirituality. I wouldn't know any of this without the internet. Without the world we live in today. So I'm grateful for technology. But I've also learned how to not need it. I want it. I want it in my life. I want to be successful, but I don't need it because I'm fucking happy with who I am right now. I'm happy with what I have right now, right? It's like, this is the things we lack in the world because we lack the ability to be content with nothing, because it's not that you have nothing, you have everything. It's right here. It's right there. You can create anything and everything you've ever imagined, only if you could tap into imagination. Like, if you haven't imagined anything, then you can't create anything, right? Like, if you're the type of person that doesn't really imagine things, you don't try to think your life out, like what you want to do with your life, who you want to be. Honestly, other people are imagining your life for you, right? It's that Terence McKenna saying that Terence said the mushroom said to him, which is, if you don't have a plan, you become part of somebody else's plan. And That's the thing. Most people are just part of somebody else's plan, because they're part of somebody else's imagination. Because if your life was not created by your imagination, then your life was created by someone else's imagination. Most of the things we do is created by other people's imaginations. The airplane up there, y'all can't see it, but the airplane up there, created by someone's, it was first in someone's imagination, then it was put out into the 3D world. I feel the imagination is in another dimension. Like, our thoughts, are your thoughts in the 3D, or are your thoughts somewhere else, right? You can dissect the brain, but you're not going to find the thoughts, right? I think we're tapping into something that we don't understand. Imagination is something that we don't get. We don't get that imagination is more like the internet for human beings, and we can tap into it because all possibilities and all the things that have ever happened, all the things that will ever happen, and everything is in this thing that we can tap into, right? It's what I personally believe psychedelics like DMT, mushrooms, and ayahuasca get you in contact with, right? I think that, you know, people have talked about it. They've called it the Akasha Records. You know, I've heard people call it many things. Nowadays, quantum physics, you know, quantum physicists, they call it the quantum field, right? But I think all ideas and all things are coming from this. You know, when Steve Jobs got the idea to make Apple, you know, like iPhones and all the technology he's created, he's helped, you know, whatever. These ideas, came from LSD, guarantee. I mean, I guarantee the ideas was already in his head, right? But him taking LSD definitely helped him in creating these ideas because it helped him tap into his own imagination. Humans have lost touch with their imagination, so therefore, because we've lost touch with our imagination, we don't pump out as many ideas as we could. Most humans don't pump out any ideas. Most humans just work, pay their bills, drink on the weekends with their friends, think they're having fun, and really they're just living someone else's dream. The American dream, right? The American dream came from the Europeans that took this land from the Native Americans and then forced their way of life on us. They forced their religion on us, they forced their way of life on us, they forced their beliefs on us, they forced everything on us, right? It was their dream, it was their imagination. They imagined this world and now we're living in it. What happens if we decide to imagine another world? Hundreds of years from now, we'll be living in that because it's already happening. We're already imagining a technological world. We're already imagining a more spiritually connected world. We're already imagining what it would be like to go to Mars, to travel the stars, to colonize other planets. We're already imagining these things. So therefore, we will be in that eventually. It's inevitable because the imagination becomes real if we focus on it enough. Like, in order to pull things out of the imagination, you have to be focused on that thing that you're trying to manifest for a long time. The more humans that are focused on it, the easier and quicker and stronger the manifestation becomes. So, yeah, I think that imagination is extremely important. It's extremely important to imagine. Imagine the life you want to live. Imagine the steps that you would need to take to get to the thing you want, and then walk those steps. First you imagine it. You think, then you think out the steps that you need to do, and then you walk towards the place you want to go, step by step. And then when you get to that place, you imagine the good, the bad, the horrible, the beautiful, the ugly. You have to imagine all of it, right? Because if you don't imagine it all, somebody else will imagine certain parts of it. And you'll still be living someone else's dream, someone else's imagination. If you don't have your own dream, you're definitely living someone else's dream. Dream big, dream strong, believe in yourself. Imagine the unimaginable. Think deeper than any human has ever thought before. Think deeper than any ocean on the planet. Just think. Imagine. Envision. Like, envision is better, a better way of saying it, because I envision myself of where I want to be. I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to do this, I want to do that. I envision what it would be like to be in that. I try to feel what it would feel like to feel that, right? Feel and imagine. If you can't imagine the place you want to go, you're probably not going to get there. So, use your imagination.